of continued success. Newswatch starts right now. Good evening and welcome to Newswatch, your source for the latest news impacting southeastern Ohio. I'm Dylan Tyson. The American Academy of Pediatrics wants everyone over the age of 2 to be masked up this upcoming school year. The professional association recommends in-person classes, but with a universal masking policy. The AAP believes this would be safer and more effective than schools monitoring and enforcing rules for only the non-vaccinated. Dr. Anthony Fauci says he thinks their recommendations are reasonable.
I think that's along the same lines as what we've seen with the health authorities in Los Angeles, which in the general population have said the same thing, that when you have a degree of viral dynamics in the community and you have a substantial proportion of the population that is unvaccinated, that you really want to go the extra step, the extra mile to make sure that there's not a lot of transmission, even breakthrough infections among vaccinated individuals. And for that reason, you can understand why the American Academy of Pediatrics might want to do that. They just want to be extra safe.
The federal government has approved the COVID-19 vaccine for children 12 and older. The AAP recommends that anyone eligible should get one. An open U.S. Senate seat in Ohio has created a crowded field and stiff fundraising competition. The new senator will fill the seat of Republican Rob Portman, who will retire after 2 terms in the upper chamber. Cleveland car dealer and first-time candidate Bernie Moreno outraised the rest of his Republican primary opponents for the quarter. Moreno reported raising $2.2 million as of June 30th, topped only by Democrat U.S. Representative Tim Ryan's $3.1 million, which included a transfer of over $1 million from his congressional account. Campaign finance reports show former Ohio Republican Party Chair Jane Timken raised $1.1 million, and former Ohio Treasurer Josh Mandel raised just under $976,000. A dog in Ohio returned home yesterday after being trapped between 2 concrete walls for 5 days. A Cincinnati homeowner called the Cincinnati Fire Department after hearing the dog's cries, and firefighters found Gertie between the walls in their garage after falling down a crevice. The dog escaped from its home on Tuesday, and its owners had put up missing posters around the neighborhood. She was freed by firefighters using a saw and sledgehammer to create an opening in the wall, pulling Gertie to safety after about 10 minutes. The dog wagged its tail after being rescued, and her owner, Connie Frick, told WXIX-TV the dog was so excited to be reunited.
Good evening, I'm Benjamin Byers. Well, we certainly did have an extremely hot day today, but taking a look at this week in Athens, you can expect those hot days to continue and that sun to continue for the majority of the week. But those thunderstorms, as we get toward the end of the week, about Friday, we'll see those chances of thunderstorms come back in our area. Right now in Athens, 82 degrees, very hot and mostly sunny. That wind not too strong, so not really giving us that cool breeze we will really be wanting right now. And again, in southeastern area, sunny throughout the area, with 80 in Marietta, 82 in Athens. So overall, extremely hot, but very sunny throughout our southeastern area. Tonight in Athens, we'll cool down a bunch, and we'll keep those clear skies, but those light winds will increase a little bit, but not too much, so it should not affect anything outside tonight. And back to you, Dylan.
Thank you, Benjamin. A federal investigation has found that President Donald Trump's Commerce Secretary misled Congress about why he sought to add a citizenship question to the 2020 census. But President Joe Biden's Justice Department has decided not to prosecute. The Inspector General's investigation found that Wilbur Ross misrepresented the reason for adding a citizenship question to the census questionnaire during 2 appearances before House committees in March. According to a letter sent last week to congressional leaders by Inspector General Peggy Gustafson, it is a federal crime to make false statements before Congress. The Supreme Court eventually blocked adding the query ahead of the 2020 census. A federal judge sentenced a Florida man to 8 months in prison today for his role in the Capitol insurrection. 38-year-old Paul Hodgkins pleaded guilty in June to obstructing an official proceeding. He admitted to wearing protective goggles and gloves while carrying a Trump flag into the Senate chamber on January 6th. Hodgkins could have faced up to 21 months in prison and thousands of dollars in fines. Lawyers in the case say he's already agreed to pay $2,000 in restitution. The Senate Rules Committee is holding its first field hearing in 20 years. Senators are meeting in Atlanta today to discuss Georgia's new restrictive voting laws. Chairwoman Senator Amy Klobuchar says Congress needs to pass the For the People Act since these types of laws are sweeping the country.
In Article 1, Section 4, has equipped us to do exactly what we should do. That provision makes clear that Congress has the power to make or alter laws governing federal elections at any time. It is as clear as day.
Georgia is just the first in a series of field committee hearings to discuss new voting laws. A Gallia County man is making claims of racial bias in local policing. Plus, a West Virginia native gives back to a cause that hits home. These stories and more when Newswatch returns.
Asteroids, killer rocks on a collision course with Earth.
An asteroid has more damage potential than a nuclear bomb of the same energy.
Can new technology help prevent disaster?
Oh, jeez!
And turn a deadly threat into a lucrative opportunity?
There are millions of these objects in the solar system, and we've only just begun to understand their resource potential.
Asteroid, doomsday, or payday?
As the United States withdraws from a 20-year conflict,
It's time to end America's longest war.
Iran is stepping in, and the Taliban is gaining ground. Correspondent Najibullah Qureshi investigates the consequences of leaving Afghanistan.
The most likely scenario is a civil war. There is no one to stop it anymore.
Tune in or stream starting July 20th, 10, 9 Central, only on PBS.
On Secrets of the Dead. Hannibal was the greatest military figure in our history.
His trek through the Alps is legendary.
The thought of Hannibal bringing 37 elephants over the Alps is ridiculous.
But how did he do it?
We went after the chemistry, the mineralogy.
Scientists uncover the mystery of
That's the way that Hannibal would have come in.
Hannibal in the Alps on Secrets of the Dead.
Welcome, everyone.
We are
Thrilled to have you.
I have to tell you something.
Are you ready for this?
Beautiful.
Show me what you got.
nothing compares to this.
Wow, we need to be seen.
We have to imagine the American landscape.
Show me what you got. Show me what you got.
Welcome back to Newswatch. Today, U.S. Attorney General Merrick Garland formally prohibited federal investigators from seizing the records of journalists with limited exceptions, reversing years of department policy. The new policy largely codifies the commitment Garland made last month when he said the Justice Department would abandon the practice of seizing reporters' records for leak investigations. It aims to resolve the difficult balance of weighing the media's First Amendment rights against government's desire to protect classified information. But the memo makes it clear that the federal prosecutors can in some cases seize journalists' records, such as if the reporters are suspected of working for agents of a foreign power or terrorist organizations. There's also an exception for situations with imminent risks. An investigation is underway in Gallipolis as a man looks to shed light on the racial bias of policing in his community. Curtis Fader has more.
Charles Delahousse, a resident of Gallia County, suffers from PTSD from getting shot. He has a prescription for medicinal marijuana and was being driven home by his girlfriend from a dispensary last July when their car was pulled over by police. The official reason listed was failure to signal within 100 feet of the stop sign at Rio Grande. It seemed like a routine traffic stop, but footage from the officer's dash cam shows that he then asked the passenger for his ID and social security number as well. Legal, but unusual. The officer then asked a particularly pointed question.
Is there anything illegal in the vehicle today, guys? Weapons, knives, grenades, bazookas, anything of the sort like that?
At this point, Delahousse showed his bag of marijuana along with his medical card that had his name on it. The officer then asked them to exit the vehicle and conducted a search. The officer said he found the end of a blunt with marijuana inside. Delahousse claims it was a butt from a Swisher Sweet cigar, whose wrapping is commonly used to roll up marijuana to smoke. The officer frisked the two and interrogated each of them individually in an attempt to get them to admit that they had been smoking.
I'm asking you the questions, if you notice, I'm asking the questions I'm asking because I already know the answer. But you can sit here and lie and have no character or liability for yourself and be seen as a liar, or you can be honest about what was going on.
The woman denied smoking, but after a few minutes of muted and muffled audio off camera, she then admitted to smoking. Charles alleges that the officer had threatened to take the woman's kids away if she did not admit that they had smoked. Delahousse, on the other hand, did not confess and express his fear of being shot.
I'm not trying to argue with you. I'm not trying to get shot out here. I'm trying to go home.
Why would I shoot you, man?
I have no idea. I have no idea why you stopped me. I have no idea why I got
told you I
questioned.
stopped
I know,
you.
but I'm a passenger. There's no way I should have even been questioned. There's nothing. It's like everything.
It doesn't matter when the odor comes from the vehicle's mine. But honestly, man, to throw out the I'm violating your rights and you don't want to get shot out here, that's being petty. First of all, it is. So you're going to get a ticket for it today. It's mine.
The officer charged Delahousse, a black man, with a minor misdemeanor for drug possession, and had the bag containing his medicinal marijuana, vape pen, and $5 confiscated. The white woman who owned and drove the car and admitted to smoking in it was not charged. Delahousse challenged this in Galapagos Municipal Court, but the case was an uphill battle from the start. Kyle Gilliland, Charles's lawyer from the NAACP, explained that he had scheduled a time and place to view the evidence. However, upon his arrival, the city solicitor did not show up, and the Rio Grande chief of police at the time was there with a white bag. However, the defense could neither see nor feel what was inside of it. Instead, they were shown photographs, including the marijuana weighed on a scale. According to the photograph, the weight of the marijuana was exactly 6 grams, and given his prescription of 14.15 grams, he would have had to have smoked precisely 8.15 grams, over half of his monthly medicinal marijuana prescription, in the 30-minute car ride from the dispensary before being pulled over. The court found him guilty for possession of marijuana based on the end of the blunt found in the car. The judge noted that Ohio's medical marijuana law does not allow marijuana to be smoked. The court also acknowledged that Delahousse was questioned after the search without being read his Miranda rights, but noted that Delahousse had already shown the officer the marijuana before the search. Delahousse, however, sees it differently.
Like they just robbed me. It was a strong arm robbery by the police. I don't need people, but I would like people to be aware that the system is corrupt.
For Newswatch, I'm Curtis Fader.
Delahousse is challenging the result. Meanwhile, the officer in question was since promoted to chief of Rio Grande Police last month. Ford has recalled hundreds of thousands of vehicles. The car maker announced Friday it's recalling 775,000 Ford Explorer SUVs. The move comes after reports of 6 injuries related to steering issues in the U.S. The recall applies to 2013 through the 2017 model of the Explorer. Ford indicated that wintry weather could be a particular concern for the impacted Explorers, especially in areas where there's a combination of cold weather, high humidity, and significant road salt use. Ford also recalled nearly 35,000 2020 and 2021 F-350 Super Duty trucks and more than 40,000 2020 and 2021 Lincoln Aviators. Issues with those cars have not led to any injuries. And Haiti's acting Prime Minister, Claude Joseph, is stepping down. Joseph has led the country since the death of Haitian President Jovenel Moïse on July 7th. He will hand power to Prime Minister designate Ariel Henry, who was nominated just days before Moïse's death. Elections Minister Matthias Pierre told CNN Joseph will remain in his original role as Haiti's foreign minister. A new government will be announced tomorrow. An Olympic dream cut short just days ahead of the opening ceremony. That story is still ahead.
And how hot can we expect it to get this week? Find out next in my full weather forecast. But first, here's a look at stocks of local interest.
on secrets of the dead. Hannibal was the greatest military figure in our history.
His trek through the Alps is legendary.
The thought of Hannibal bringing 37 elephants over the Alps is ridiculous.
But how did he do it?
We went after the chemistry, the mineralogy.
Scientists uncover the mystery of
That's the way that Hannibal would have come in.
Hannibal in the Alps on Secrets of the Dead.
Next time on Antiques Roadshow Vintage Omaha.
This is remarkable. Wow. I've never seen one outside of the Hall of Fame or outside of a historical society.
Is that right? Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. I've never seen this particular form. Oh, my. I love it. I do, too. Oh, it's just fantastic.
Play along and guess which values have changed or stayed the same. Next time on Antiques Roadshow.
Welcome, everyone.
We are
thrilled to have you.
I have to tell you something.
Are you ready for this?
Beautiful.
Show me what you got.
Nothing compares to this.
Wow. We need to be seen.
We have to imagine the American landscape.
Show me what you got. Show me what you got. Show me what you got.
Asteroids, killer rocks on a collision course with Earth.
An asteroid has more damage potential than a nuclear bomb of the same energy.
Can new technology help prevent disaster?
Oh, jeez.
And turn a deadly threat into a lucrative opportunity?
There are millions of these objects in the solar system, and we've only just begun to understand their resource potential.
Asteroid, doomsday, or payday?
Good evening, I'm Benjamin Byers. Well, we certainly had a very hot day today, but it was also a very beautiful day, and it continues to be, as right now in Athens, it's 82 degrees, so we do have that high heat, but at least we have those mostly sunny skies. Those winds aren't strong enough to really be giving us any cool air as we go through this very hot day. Tonight in Athens, 61 degrees, so we'll cool down a bunch, but we'll keep those clear skies and those and the winds will pick up a bit, but still not too much to worry about as we go into the night. Don't have to worry about any debris flying around as you're traveling home tonight. And then with our southeastern areas, 60 degrees in Cambridge, 62 in New Lexington. So overall, we'll cool down a bunch this evening, but we'll still keep those clear skies throughout our area. With the satellite map of Ohio, we can see Athens very clearly from the satellite, and so not much cloud area, which is what is giving us those sunny skies today. And with the radar map, no precipitation anywhere near us. So that'll continue throughout the week until we reach about the end of the week. Tomorrow in Athens, we'll heat up a bunch, 88 degrees, but those sunny skies will remain, and those light winds from from tonight will also remain. So again, just a day like today, very hot, but sunny skies. And pretty much the same throughout our southeastern area as well. We'll heat up a bunch, but we see some clouds in more southern regions, but in the northern regions, very hot tomorrow. Hour by hour for your morning commute, 6 a.m., 62 degrees, 8 a.m., 67 degrees, 10 a.m., 76 degrees. So we'll heat up a bunch, but those sunny skies will remain. Around 10 a.m., it'll feel like it's 80, but it'll actually be 76, so very big difference between what it actually is and what it feels like. So it'll be very hot tomorrow. Taking a look at the 7-day forecast for the week ahead. Tuesday we can see sunny skies all the way until Thursday, but Friday you can expect a chance of thunderstorms, 40% precipitation, so not too bad, but still not the best. Saturday again, those sunny skies come out with some clouds here and there, but still mainly sunny. But Sunday, not really a Sunday, 45% chance of precipitation, and those chances of thunderstorms come back sweeping into our area. But as you can see, the heat will remain throughout the week, as there's many days with a high of 80s, like Tuesday 88 degrees, Wednesday 84 degrees, Friday 82 degrees, and Saturday 86 degrees. And over to you, Dylan.
Thanks again, Benjamin. America's Got Talent winner Landau Eugene Murphy Jr. is being featured on an adult literacy campaign in West Virginia. Murphy's photo is on billboards throughout the state as part of the Never Too Late to Graduate push by the state's Office of Adult Education. The department said Murphy is also displaying the materials as banners at his state concerts to provide information to help people earn their diplomas and pursue other educational opportunities. The Logan, West Virginia native dropped out of school in the 11th grade, worked numerous odd jobs, and at one point was living out of his car. The singer took online classes during the summer and spring after his road performances were canceled by the virus shutdown last year. He earned his high school equivalency diploma 30 years after dropping out. In 2011, Murphy earned $1 million, his own Las Vegas show, and a recording contract when he won the NBC Talent Contest. An alternate on the U.S. women's gymnastics team has tested positive for COVID-19. Kara Eaker tested positive yesterday with just days to go until the opening ceremonies in Tokyo. Officials say she's not showing any symptoms. USA Gymnastics said today that Simone Biles was not affected, nor were any of the other favorites to win the team gold. But gymnast Leanne Wong has been identified as a close contact, and both gymnasts would be subject to additional quarantine restrictions. Officials announced today that the number of COVID-19 cases linked to the 2020 Olympic Games has risen to 61.
Hi there, I'm Curtis Fader, and a local high school athlete is receiving national attention for his play on the field. That story more when Newswatch returns. But first, here's a look at what's coming up on tonight for your public television station.
Welcome, everyone.
We are
Thrilled to have you.
I have to tell you something.
Are you ready for this?
Beautiful.
Show me what you got.
nothing compares to this.
Wow. We need to be seen.
We have to imagine the American landscape.
Show me what you got. Show me what you got. Show me what you got.
Next time on Antiques Roadshow Vintage Omaha.
This is remarkable.
Wow.
I've never seen one outside of the Hall of Fame or outside of a historical society.
Is that right? Oh my goodness.
Yeah. I've never seen this particular form. Oh my. I love it. I do too. Oh, it's just fantastic.
Play along and guess which values have changed or stayed the same. Next time on Antiques Roadshow.
On Secrets of the Dead. Hannibal was the greatest military figure in our history. His trek through the Alps is legendary.
The thought of Hannibal bringing 37 elephants over the Alps is ridiculous.
But how did he do it?
We went after the chemistry, the mineralogy.
Scientists uncover the mystery of
That's the way that Hannibal would have come in.
Hannibal in the Alps on Secrets of the Dead.
Asteroids, killer rocks on a collision course with Earth.
An asteroid has more damage potential than a nuclear bomb of the same energy.
Can new technology help prevent disaster?
Oh, jeez.
And turn a deadly threat into a lucrative opportunity?
There are millions of these objects in the solar system, and we've only just begun to understand their resource potential.
Asteroid, doomsday, or payday?
Welcome back to Newswatch. I'm Curtis Fader. The Chillicothe Cavaliers football team won their Frontier Athletic Conference title last year, and Will Price reports the team is working this summer to build a culture of continued success.
Coming off an undefeated season in conference play, the Chillicothe Cavaliers have bonded over one word: culture. It was the acronym selected to be the motto for this year, traditionally selected by the seniors. The acronym stands for Continuing Ultimate Leadership, Teamwork, Unity, repeatedly every day.
It means we got to carry the tradition. So following last year, we won our FAC championships. We want to continue it this year and keep the same goals. I said we get past the FAC, win that, and then win districts, regionals, get past there.
McCory was an all-state honorable mention last season, but he's not the only returning talent. Junior Max Lee starts alongside McCory at linebacker. He says the defense has its goals laid out for the season.
Limit teams under 14 a game. Defense creates offense, and just defense is the most fun part of the game.
Head coach Doug Pryor will lean on the two linebackers this season to improve the defense.
Isaac is one of those kind of quiet assassins. I mean, he just comes in, works hard, works his tail off in the weight room, works hard out on the field. Just has an excellent attitude.
Meanwhile, Lee has stepped up as a leader during the offseason.
He is more of a vocal leader, but he's a guy who can back it up, right? He pushes everybody in a positive way, demands their best, and he's not going to demand their best without giving his best, and he does it every day.
Pryor says he thinks the team knows what his expectations are for this fall, and meeting those expectations could bring continued success for the Cavaliers. For Newswatch, I'm Will Price in Chillicothe.
Thanks, Will. A local high school football player will represent Athens County on the national stage. Trimble High School senior Blake Guffey was invited to the Blue-Gray All-American Bowl. The game gives high school prospects the opportunity to work out and play in front of college recruiters to increase their chances of receiving a scholarship. A standout wide receiver, Guffey says he's excited to learn and play with some of the country's best high school players.
I think it's really cool. I mean, just being able to go out there and compete with a bunch of other great players from around the world, basically, in the country. And I just think it's going to be an amazing experience, and I'm going to be able to learn a lot and have a lot of fun.
Guffey was one of 300 students chosen to play in the game out of more than 6,000 athletes who attended a recent training camp. He recorded more than 500 receiving yards last year for Trimble and also helped the Tomcats get a TVC Hawking title and 2 playoff wins. The Blue-Gray All-American Bowl is set to take place in January at Raymond James Stadium in Tampa Bay, Florida, and will air on ESPN3. I'm Curtis Fader, and that's all for sports. Back over to you, Dylan.
Thank you, Curtis. It seems NASA astronauts at the International Space Station are just like the rest of us who've discovered our green thumbs during the pandemic. The astronauts are growing red and green chili peppers in space. In a press release, NASA said growing the peppers is one of the most challenging plant experiments attempted aboard the orbital lab. The peppers should be ready for harvest in about 3.5 months. A NASA official says crew members may prefer spicier seasoned foods such as peppers because they can temporarily lose their sense of taste or smell while in orbit.
And let's take a final look at your weather for tonight in Athens. We'll cool down a bunch, 61 degrees, but those clear skies will remain and the winds light enough won't affect too much. Luckily, won't have to worry about any debris flying around as we go into your night. Tonight in our southeastern area, just like in Athens, we'll cool down a bunch, but again, just like in Athens, we'll see those clear skies throughout the night, giving us that beautiful view of the moon. Hour by hour for our morning commute, 6 a.m. To 10 a.m. we'll heat up a bunch, and at 10 a.m. we'll have 76 degrees, but it'll feel like 80, so it'll feel a lot hotter than it actually is. Take a look at the 7-day forecast for the week ahead. Tuesday, 88 degrees, Wednesday, 84 degrees, all the way until Friday when we see those chances of thunderstorms come up. Not only a 40% chance of precipitation. Sunday, 45% chance of precipitation with those chances of thunderstorms. And back to you, Dylan.
Thank you, Benjamin, and that will do it for our broadcast this evening. Thanks for watching. I'm Dylan Tyson. Stay tuned for the PBS NewsHour coming up next. Have a great night.
Support comes from Snyder, Fuller, and Stroh in Athens, providing retirement planning and assistance to Southeast Ohio for 50 years. Snyder, Fuller, and Stroh, not just another financial firm. More information at Snyder, Fuller, Stroh.